One Zambia, One Nation. Good evening and welcome to the news at 18 hours. My name is Nawali Oblahakis. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Edgar Lungu has appointed Dora Silia as Agriculture Minister, while Victoria Kalima has been appointed Gender Minister. Police in Lusaka have apprehended a man for impersonating First Lady Esther Lungu, Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja, and former Minister of Finance Alexander Chikwanda. The Zambia Under-20 boys handball team has suffered a loss at the ongoing International Handball Federation Zone 6 tournament in Johannesburg, South Africa. And now the news in detail. President Edgar Lungu has appointed Dora Silia as Agriculture Minister, while Victoria Kalima is the new Gender Minister. The President has also appointed Vincent Mwale as Local Government Minister, Jean Kapata as Lands Minister, and Lawrence Sichalwe as Chiefs and Traditional Affairs Minister. Monali Member of Parliament Nkanduluo is now Minister of Higher Education, Moses Mawere is Youth and Sport Minister, and Dr. Dennis Wachinga goes to General Education. This brings the number to 16 of those appointed as full cabinet ministers by the head of state. And President Lungu has tasked the newly appointed Agriculture Minister Dora Silia to ensure that national food security is a top priority immediately she takes office. The President has also directed Ms. Silia to ensure that the maize export ban is strictly enforced. Meanwhile, President Lungu will soon announce structural changes to some ministries in a bid to rationalize their operations for efficient output. The appointments will take immediate effect after the swearing-in ceremony at State House tomorrow. This is according to a statement released to TV2 News by Special Assistant to the President for Press and Public Relations, Amos Chanda. Police in Lusaka have apprehended a man for impersonating First Lady Esther Lungu, Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja, and former Minister of Finance Alexander Chikwanda. Gideon Chiwe has since been charged with 3 counts of impersonation. Police Deputy Spokesperson Esther Katongo has confirmed the development to TV2 News. Ms. Katongo also says Chiwe is facing 2 counts of obtaining money by false pretenses and 1 count of attempting to obtain money by false pretenses. She says investigations have also revealed that fraudsters are using fake Facebook accounts under names of prominent people to lure unsuspecting members of the public to make deposits in bank accounts on pretext that they would secure employment. Ms. Katongo says the fraudsters are working in collaboration with foreigners. Police have since advised members of the public to be wary of such criminal activities to avoid falling prey. Ms. Katongo has also warned all those involved in such scams, both local and foreign, to desist from the act, adding that police are on high alert to ensure that all those involved are brought to book. The Lusaka High Court has heard that murder suspect Precious Longway warned her husband that he was going to pay for the misunderstanding that the two had. This is according to the text messages that Precious and her husband Akakanda Litebele exchanged hours before he died. This is in a matter in which Precious Longway is accused of having killed her husband using a gun. Here now is a report.
Various witnesses have testified in a case where Lusaka banker Precious Longwe is accused of having killed her husband, Akakanda Litebere, using a gun. Ruth Longwe told High Court Judge Sharon Newa that according to the accused, it was the husband who wanted to kill the wife. Miss Longwe, who is the mother to the deceased, said after trying to grab a gun from the deceased, the suspect accidentally killed the victim. The court was informed that the two liked partying and that the husband once beat his wife using an iron bar. But a pathologist, Daniel Muswabu, says his investigation shows that the deceased was shot at a long distance. Dr. Muswabu informed the packed courtroom that Mr. Itebere had 6 gunshot wounds on his body. He said the deceased died because of loss of blood due to the perforation of the heart and lungs as a result of gunshots. Another witness from Victor Chewemtare produced a report involving the text messages conversation between Precious and the husband. According to the text messages, the misunderstanding started after the husband asked the wife to find her way back home after failing to join her at a named drinking place. After the exchange of text, the suspect wrote a text that read, "Anyway, you will pay for this." Defense lawyer Osborne Ngoma was on hand to discredit the postmortem and the crime scene report. But Director of Public Prosecution Rien Siuni and her team were on hand to prove the competence of their witnesses. Meanwhile, the case was heard in a packed courtroom. Some people in court were seen shedding tears as various witnesses presented their side of story. Hector Simfokwe, TV2 News in Lusaka.
In other news, installation of mayors and council chairpersons has taken place in various parts of the country. In Lusaka, Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo says government considers local government as an engine to national development. Speaking during the installation of the mayor of Lusaka, Mr. Kampyongo said government's commitment to improving local authorities is manifested in its emphasis on decentralization. We have more in this report.
He has taken oath before presiding magistrate Betty Malupenga after winning the mayoral seat in the August general election. Wilson Kalumba was elected mayor of Lusaka according to the provision in the amended constitution that now demands for the election of mayors. Minister of Home Affairs Stephen Kampyongo officiated at the installation ceremony.
The Patriot Front government considers local government as an engine for development. Being a sphere of government closest to the people, this cannot be overemphasized. And indeed, this is the reason why the government of His Excellency Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu has pressed emphasis of decentralization, which is now enshrined in the Constitution under Article 147. Your council has a huge responsibility and will be required to work with substructures at the ward level.
The new mayor has assured Lusaka residents that he will improve the outlook of the city.
With my humble background in accounting and finance, I commit to lead Lusaka City Council on a financially sustainable path. My vision is to transform Lusaka into an economic giant. To achieve this, I will need the concerted effort of all stakeholders, who include the government, private sector, and the citizens, regardless of their political affiliation.
The ceremony also saw Deputy Mayor of Lusaka, Chilando Chitangala, being installed.
I'm grateful to the Patriotic Front Party for showing confidence in women by allowing them to be appointed to decision-making positions. Truly, our President, His Excellency Edgar Chagwa Lungu, is walking the talk of having at least 40% women in decision-making positions.
The council has a huge role to play in delivering development following the enshrining of the decentralization policy in the new constitution. The policy transfers power from central government to the local authority. Ingutu Mwanza, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Copperbelt Minister Bonin Lusambo has cautioned civic leaders to desist from illegal selling of land. Speaking during the installation of Kalulushi Executive Mayor Rashida Mulenga, Mr. Lusambo said that for many years, civic leaders have been associated with illegal allocation of plots. He said the Patriotic Front members, councillors, deputy mayors and executive mayors would not be tolerated once found in the scourge. And newly elected Cabo Mayor Prince Chileshe has taken office with a pledge to stamp out corruption in the local authority. Mr. Chileshe says his office will not tolerate corruption, land mismanagement and dubious awarding of contracts. And speaking during the installation ceremony, Central Province Minister Sidney Mushanga has cautioned councillors against engaging in illegal allocation of plots. Mr. Mushanga says his office will not tolerate illegality in councils. We now go for our first break, and still to come in the news. A young man attempts to commit suicide right in the Lusaka Central Business District. Stay with us. We now continue with the news. Business came to standstill in Lusaka's Cairo Road as a young man tried to commit suicide. It took quick response from the general public and the firefighters to rescue Petrus Mutonga. Eyewitnesses say Mutonga is believed to be in his 20s. Luyando Hamwala has details in this report.
Business came to a standstill as people left their shops to witness an attempted suicide. This young man is believed to have abused drugs and came onto the streets of Lusaka's Cairo Road and started taking off his clothes. Witnesses say before he went onto the rooftop of this building, he was showing signs of madness for almost an hour. Many are shocked over what they have witnessed here, and most of them suspect substance abuse.
Boy seems to be a decent young man. It's like he comes from a good family, but it seems like he's taking some kind of drugs. This is not the first time I've seen such an incident. There are people who are going around schools and colleges and selling this drug. It's called meth, but they mix it with some other stuff. So a lot of kids are taking this meth and it's confusing them.
We talked with my friend, I left, I was going out. Then the boy called me to say, "You papa, hold on, wait there." Then I looked at him, I realized that there was no any business between me and him. Then I walked, I carried on my walking, and then I came out. Then shortly came out, he came to the place where I was seated. He started just doing some funny things. He removed the shirt and he wanted to remove the trousers. And then people started saying, "No, put on the trousers." That's how he moved from there. He went straight to climb on the top.
When he moved from where I was undressing, when he went up the roof, that's when I went to the fabric. First I caught them. Then they couldn't locate the place, then I dropped there. After I dropped there, they told me we'll be there shortly. Then they told me to go to the police. That's when I went to Central, they referred me to Town Center, no manpower. Then I went to Millennium. Then shortly when I came with one officer, that's when I saw the fire brigade coming. And this is all what happened.
The scene of this nature might have generated excitement among the crowd, but many here agree that the young man needs help. Leandro Hamwala, TV2 News in Lusaka.
First Lady Esther Lungu has been inducted as the first chairperson of the First Ladies Council of the African Women Entrepreneurship Program, AWEP, in New York. Zanis gives us this report.
It is one of the pillars to achieving economic growth in a nation. It is from this background that the African Women Entrepreneurship Program, AWEP, has recognized the role Zambia plays in entrepreneurship. To this effect, First Lady Esther Lungu has been inducted as the first chairperson of the First Ladies Council of AWEP Pan-African. The induction ceremony was held at the VIP Country Club in New York yesterday.
I'm honored that AWEP Pan-Africa has considered me to be the first ever chairperson of the organization. I dedicate this prestigious title bestowed on me to the very poor women out in the rural areas of Africa who work tirelessly on their agricultural plots. I further dedicate this title to the women traders who sit in the scorching sun throughout the day in Africa, trying to sell merchandise to take their children to school.
At the same occasion, permanent representative of the Zambian mission to the United Nations, Mwabaka Sesebota, outlined the major achievements and works that the First Lady has conducted in the last 1 year.
Mrs. Esther Lungu has joined global leaders to focus on the empowerment of women and girls, advocating for an AIDS-free world, eliminating child and forced marriages and teenage pregnancies, as well as addressing and advocating for the end of cervical and breast cancer. Since assuming office of First Lady in January 2015, Mrs. Esther Lungu has reached out to 8 provinces out of the 10 that we have in Zambia.
Meanwhile, Chief of Public Administration in the Department of the United Nations Development and Social Affairs, UNDESA, John Mary Kauzia, appealed to African entrepreneurs to exhibit financial discipline in their business.
Curtails innovations because people tend to channel resources earmarked for certain development projects into something else. Financial discipline is something that is going to be very, very much needed if both individual entrepreneurs, government entrepreneurship, or state entrepreneurship have to aim for and achieve sustainable development.
The African Women Entrepreneurs Program, AWEP, is an initiative that focuses on mining, agriculture, textiles and handcrafts. Zanis reports in New York, USA.
Northern Province Permanent Secretary Hlobot Nkunika has observed that succession wrangles and chiefdoms have a negative impact on national development. Mr. Nkunika says succession of chiefs should be done in line with tradition. The PS said this during the installation ceremony of Chief Mokupa Kauma of the Lungu-speaking people in Porokoso district over the weekend. Mr. Nkunika said government recognizes Geoffrey Kauma as a new chief for the Lungu people. He said government expects the people of Mporokoso to respect the newly installed chief in order to foster peace in the area. Mr. Nkunika, however, urged the newly installed chief to be impartial as he superintends over the chiefdom. He told the chief to continue encouraging people to live in harmony with each other and avoid the wrangles which led to the murder of the chief mid this year. And chairperson of the Lungu Royal Establishment, Chief Chitoshi, advised the Lungu people to promote peace. Chief Chitoshi also commended the government for creating a district in Mokupa Kauma Chiefdom in Lunte constituency. We go for another commercial break. After that, we'll have sports as well as foreign news. Keep watching. Thank you so much for staying with us. In international news, a petition signed by more than 14,000 Saudi women calling for an end to the country's male guardianship system has been handed to the government. Women must have the consent of a male guardian to travel abroad and often need permission to work or study. Support for the first large-scale campaign on the issue grew online in response to a trending Twitter hashtag. Activist Aziza Al-Yusuf, who delivered the petition, told the BBC she felt very proud, but now needed a response. In the deeply conservative Islamic kingdom, a woman must have permission from her father, brother or other male relative, or in the case of a widow, sometimes her son, to obtain a passport, marry or leave the country. Many workplaces and universities also demand a guardian's consent for female employees and students, although it is not legally required. Well, that's it for international news. We now go to sports news, where we now join Chikom Cocker to give us the headlines as well as the details in sports news.
And now sports news in detail. The Zambia under-20 boys handball team has suffered a loss at the ongoing International Handball Federation Zone 6 tournament in Johannesburg, South Africa. The junior handball boys team lost 34-20 at the hands of their bitter rivals Mozambique. This was in the last game of the group stage of the tournament played at Orlando Communal Hall in Soweto, South Africa. Mozambique proved too physical for the Zambian side because of their height. Despite the loss, the boys have qualified to the semi-finals as they finished second in Group A behind Mozambique. Meanwhile, the girls under-20 handball team has completed the group stage of the tournament with a 100% winning rate. The girls whitewashed Botswana 63-3 in their last group stage game to finish top of Group B. The girls will now play Malawi in the semi-final tomorrow, while the boys will lock horns with hosts South Africa. The winners of the tournament in the boys and girls categories will qualify to the Continental Championship to be held in Cape Verde next year. Kanyama Community Gym is still scouting for 80,000 kwacha to successfully host the 7th Mr. Kanyama Bodybuilding Contest next month. Gym Secretary Jackins Piri says the organizing committee has so far raised 20,000 kwacha towards the 100,000 kwacha budget. Piri is hopeful that sponsors will fulfill their pledges before October 8th, the day of the event. More in this report. These are some of the bodybuilders that will be competing in the 7th Mr. Kanyama Bodybuilding Contest set for October 8th, 2016. And despite the budget shortfall, organizers at the weekend launched the countdown to the contest with a display of the huge poster at Carousel. Kanyama Gym Secretary Jackins Piri is however hopeful that they will host a successful event.
We only have about 2 weeks before this event is held. So we are appealing, our appeal goes to the corporate world to still come on board and help us so that this event is held successfully.
And Mad Max Auto Spares, the traditional sponsors since the inaugural Mr. Kanyama, have called for more support to the sport.
It's very important for the people that are here trying to build a career out of themselves, to build a sport and to prop up the sport, to become a national thing. So let's do this, and I appeal so much earnestly to the corporate world. Let's please try and put monies together, our heads together, to prop up this sport.
Some competitors are already shaping up for the event in a fortnight's time.
I'm prepared because this is my first year and this is my first time, and I know that I'll make it.
Otherwise, I'm very ready. I'm prepared very well, and I'm training very well. So I'm looking forward for the competition.
In a bid to promote women participation in the sport, reigning Miss Zimbabwe Regina Jonga will guest pose at the event. Chikom Koka for TV2 Sports News in Lusaka. Final on this segment, in Netball, Green Buffalo's Netball team are the winners of the 2016 Zambia National Service Commandant Trophy. This is after they narrowly beat Nkwazi 10-8 in the finals played at ZNS Chamba Valley in Lusaka. Buffaloes walked away with 4,000 kwacha prize money, a floating trophy and medals, while Nkwazi got 3,000 kwacha. ZNS Director of Sport, Matthias Banda, says the tournament is getting popular every year. Details in this report. More than 40 teams in various categories turned up for the annual ZNS Commandant Trophy Netball tournament at the weekend. But it was Green Buffaloes that emerged champions in the regular category after beating Nkwazi 10-8. Earlier in the semi-finals, Buffaloes beat their sister club, Green Eagles, while Nkwazi beat Lusaka City Council.
It's known to everyone that Buffaloes reached the finals. Buffaloes is a team to reckon with. It's so nice, it's so entertaining compared to last year. It's so good.
The competition is not easy, it's very tough. We are in Group A as the defending champions, so and the toughest team it was Green Eagles, so it was not an easy thing. So by the end of the day, it takes endurance and hard work.
The sponsors, Zambia National Service, ZNS, are overwhelmed with the response.
We have recorded 45 teams, though in different categories, the communities, the men's, the madalas, the regulars. It is a good thing, and we are overwhelmed by the attendance. It means it is getting popular, and the executive is doing a lot in trying to sensitize the other communities to be part of this.
In the men's category, Nkwazi emerged champions after they beat ZNS Makeni 8-6. Former netballers also displayed their skills at the tournament in the women's madalas category. Chikom Koka, TV2 Sports News in Lusaka. That's all we had for you on this segment. Join us again next Monday for more interesting sports news. I leave you with Nawalia with the headlines. Good night and God bless.
Thank you very much, Chico, for giving us the details in sports. And now to end the news, let's take a look at the headlines. President Edgar Lungu has appointed Doris Elia as Agriculture Minister, while Victoria Kalima has been appointed Gender Minister. And President Lungu has appointed Vincent Mwale as Local Government Minister, Jean Kapata as Lands Minister, and Lawrence Sichalwe as Chiefs and Traditional Affairs Minister. Police in Lusaka have apprehended a man for impersonating First Lady Esther Lungu, Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja, and former Minister of Finance Alexander Chikwanda. Police Deputy Spokesperson Esther Katongo has confirmed the development to TV2 News. In sports news, the Zambia Under-20 boys handball team has suffered a loss at the ongoing International Handball Federation Zone 6 tournament in Johannesburg, South Africa. The junior handball boys team lost 34-20 at the hands of their bitter rivals, Mozambique. Well, that's it for the news. We'll have more news for you at 20 hours. My name is Nabwali of Lahakis. Thank you for watching and God bless.